this corporate dissociative disorder that's the problem in our country. We can no longer say this is normal. We can no longer say it's okay. Hi, I'm Donnie Linville, citizen of Goodwill, coming to you on behalf of the Do Better movement. For nearly 2 years, Michael and Connie Smith, along with citizens of Goodwill from all over the United States, have been in the trenches, waging warfare against systemic racism in our nation. Today, city council members and city leaders in Jacksonville, Florida, have taken note. Just behind me, inside of City Hall a few hours ago, city council members and city leaders came together to honor and to recognize Michael and Connie Smith for their work against systemic racism in our nation. Not only did they come together to recognize and to honor them, but they came together to listen to them. This is a big day in the Do Better movement. The voice of Michael T. Smith has reached seats of influence and positions of power in our city and in our nation. Come inside as we take a look.
Honoring and commending Pastors Michael Smith and Connie Smith for community work and launching the Do Better Now movement. Madam Clerk, could you please read?
Today, we live in a world whose core basic values that define, enhance our families and communities are often under siege by a culture of depravity that permeates the music on our airways, the literature that we read, and the movies that we view. The entertainment industry are all too often purveyors of this climate of permissiveness. Too many hours on radio airwaves when listeners are likely to be young are filled with music whose lyrics glorify the darker side of an artist's creativity. Fortunately, there are countless parents, teachers, civic leaders, clergy, young people themselves, and others who have enlisted in numerous and sundry undertakings to turn the tide, to repel the siege on family and community values. In Jacksonville, Florida, Do Better Now, founded by Pastors Michael Smith and Connie Smith, is in the vanguard in protecting our children by prodding broadcasters and businesses that fund them through advertising to do better in the content that they play and pay for. The ultimate goal of the Do Better Now movement is to provoke Americans to turn the tide of systemic racism in our midst. In addition, Do Better Now brings awareness to violent, degrading music on the airwaves and seeks to clear up the air pollution that targets youth. In the absence of a broad-based, principled organization to lead the way in turning back evil in our midst, Edmund Burke's famous adage prevails: all that is necessary for evil to triumph is that good men do nothing. Do Better Now, with the pastors Michael Smith and Connie Smith at the helm, has enlisted people from all walks of life to engage in a positive, spirited effort to safeguard our youth from elements in contemporary society that would lead them astray and imperil their future. And we wish to take this opportunity to recognize and commend these leaders for stepping up to the proverbial plate and doing what is right for all of us. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Jacksonville, the City Council, on behalf of the citizens of Jacksonville, recognize and commend the Pastor Michael Smith and the Pastor Connie Smith for the important work that they have launched in the community with the Do Better Now movement, and wish them continued success in the years ahead. Adopted by the Council, June 10th, 2014.
If you want to bring any of your members up, that would be certainly appropriate and fine. Anyone that cares to be up here.
It's all of them. It's all of them.
Okay. I understand. This was off their webpage. The ultimate goal of Do Better Now is to change the shape of the American pie. They are citizens of goodwill, know that our country is a land of opportunity for anybody and everyone. We have a little way to go before we can legitimately claim to be a nation of equality for all. We must consider some measure of redistribution in and above societal issues. We feel that any race or ethnic group should not be overrepresented in any negative societal category. Sadly, black Americans, who are 13% of our population, are consistently overrepresented in many negative categories. This is unacceptable, and it's time to address it. They believe Americans will never be will never be sufficiently angered at statistical and experimental racial disparity that plagues our land until we no longer comfortably accept toxic content and behavior as normal, fitting, or even expected. The toxic behavior many times is reinforced by the broadcast industry and advertisers. Some of you would be appalled at what some of the rap music advocates and suggests. So through this resolution, I've attempted to give some credibility to the work Pastors Michael Smith and Connie Smith are doing and to offer prayers, support, and best wishes in their difficult but rewarding endeavor. Thank you. Pastor Smith.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, everyone. The Do Better movement is, it's a movement of consciousness, a movement of redefining a new normal for Jacksonville, redefining a new normal for our nation. I think what's happened and what has been happening is that what is common has become normal, and once it becomes normal, we cease to fight it like we need to fight it. You know, Jacksonville, as you've seen the homicides soaring once again, it seems like it's a problem that we get down and then it bubbles over and we get down and it bubbles over. But beyond the violence, there's another tale, which is the lopsided overrepresentation of blacks, particularly young blacks in our city, that are involved in homicide on both sides. And I began to question why. Why does that happen? And I think if you point fingers at certain places in the community, you assign blame, but when you take responsibility, you roll up your sleeves and you get busy. And the Do Better movement is about denormalizing that. I'll be 41 on Friday. There has never been a year that I've been alive, never been a year that I've been alive, that blacks have not been overrepresented in prison, homicide, poverty, almost every negative statistical demographic or category that you can consider. I was thinking about this dear woman that was just honored, who, God bless her, and I was thinking about my children and her grandchildren. When will be the first year in Jacksonville? The first year in Jacksonville that black citizens are not overrepresented in the morgue. Are we 3 years away, 5 years away, 20 years away, 25 years away? I've been here 12 years. There's never been a year that it hasn't happened. I hope maybe my daughter, when she does a high school book report and looks up Jacksonville homicide or Duval County Jail or U.S. prison population, that maybe for the first time we don't see it slanted like it is. I brought a graphic today that I'll leave with you, Councilman. If you'll bring it. This is something that just really helps me, and I'm going to take something away. I'm going to leave something here as well. This is a picture from 1955. A very loud picture from 1955. And I'll turn it for the council to see, and then maybe on camera or whatever. I've done my best research and not been able to identify who the gentleman is in the picture, but which is neither here nor there. But this is a city bus line in Montgomery, Alabama, 1955. And what strikes me about the picture is not the young prophet that's in it, but rather the Pepsi-Cola sign on the front. And I asked myself, would Pepsi advertise on that same bus today? If Pepsi knew of a company that operated with a race-biased policy, would it advertise on that bus today? You'll see at the top it says, would Walmart advertise here? I asked Walmart that because I asked them point blank. I said, if a music song came on that glorified killing a dog in a dog fight, would you be comfortable with advertising right before it? And they said no. I said, if a song came on that advertised or glorified dragging a homosexual behind a truck because of his sexual orientation, would you be comfortable with a Walmart advertisement behind it? They said no. I said, what if a song came on that talked about date rape or anti-Semitism? Would you be comfortable with a Walmart advertisement before or after? They said no. I said, what about a song that glorified gunning down a young black man because he talked to the police? Would you be comfortable with your name on it, yes or no? They said, we wouldn't be comfortable with our name there. I said, you do it every single day in my city. And they went nationwide and changed every broadcast advertising policy that they have and withdrew their advertisements from anything that glorified violence, particularly marketed towards young black males. I met with Sheriff Rutherford not too long ago. He was telling me about their See Something, Say Something campaign. And I said to the sheriff, has it occurred to you that every time you put on the air, see something, say something, call this number, a song advertised airs right after it that says, if you see something, we'll kill you and you deserve to die? It's this corporate dissociative disorder that's the problem in our country. And if Pepsi doesn't recognize, hey, maybe we shouldn't put our money here. And if the city council of Birmingham doesn't, or Montgomery, excuse me, doesn't recognize, maybe we should do something about this to denormalize it, it will not change. They got it wrong. We're not getting it wrong. We can't get it wrong. We can no longer say this is normal. We can no longer say it's okay. You'll never hear a song that glorifies school shooting because that's taboo in America. You'll never hear a song that glorifies terrorism because that's taboo in America. But every single day we romanticize the murder of young black men, and big companies get behind and fund it. And until people that look like me and you say this is not acceptable, it's their problem. It's not their problem, it's our problem. And we have to finish the work begun 150 years ago in the Civil War that's not done, 50 years ago by Dr. King, it's not done. We cannot say we see a fully realized dignity and equality for blacks in this country because we've supported them in their work instead of making it our work. That's what the Do Better movement is about, and I thank you for your time. There is no doubt that the voice of Michael T. Smith was heard loud and clear inside the City Hall in Jacksonville, Florida today. You couldn't see it in the video, but the city council members and the city leaders were locked in and hanging on every word that Michael T. Smith spoke. The Do Better movement is moving forward and moving strong. To find out how you can get involved, log on to dobetternow.org. That's dobetternow.org. Again, I am Donnie Linville, citizen of Goodwill, and we are doing better.